So ever since I finished my Sword and Shield guide, I figured I'd work on some different mixed sets that I could bring to you guys, because you guys may or may not be aware, I'm a huge fan of playing Elemental. And naturally, I'm going to be crafting quite a few Elemental Sword and Shields. Unfortunately, those Sword and Shields require mantles, and the Desire Sensor has not been on my side. So I decided that I would start with valstrax, but playing Sword and Shield against valstrax was proving to be actually quite challenging, due to the fact that whenever he popped his laser, it always seems like he trapped me inside the laser, because, you know, Sword and Shield, you're playing really up close and personal. I very rarely block. Actually, I don't even think you can block the laser without guard up, so he was basically trapping me in the laser, and I was just like, okay, that's it. I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to grab a Gunlance, beat the crap out of you, because after I unlock the Sword and Shield from valstrax, that's going to give me the Dragon element, which essentially is going to allow me to fight Rathalos. I mean, I could already go and fight Rathalos, but I wanted to fight him with Sword and Shield so that I could be farming the materials for Sword and Shield while also playing the Sword and Shield to practice different moves, different switch skills and all of that, and also to practice the mixed sets themselves, so that when I bring them to you, I can be sure that, like, no, this is something I'm comfortable with. I've played with this mixed set, and this mixed set feels good to play. So naturally, valstrax was the first target, because that enables me to go and fight against Rathalos with a Dragon Sword and Shield to test out the element potential and all of that of the set and all of that. But also, because I require 2 Rathalos mantles to craft the different Sword and Shields that I want to craft, because for fire, I'm going to be crafting Rathalos Sword and Shield, and then for water, I'm going to be crafting a Sword and Shield that also requires a Rathalos mantle for some strange reason, and on top of it, Dragon is also going to allow me to go and fight Narwa, which I'm still not sure if that is going to be the weapon that I'll be using to fight Narwa, but we will see, because obviously the best Thunder Sword and Shield, if you're playing Elemental, it is going to be Narwa's. Now, as I was working on this, I was like, okay, so let's bring a Gunlance build over to valstrax and beat the crap out of him. And as I was testing different Gunlance builds, because obviously I want to just get a build that makes it very comfortable to go ahead and farm valstrax, I was reminded of the fact that I actually made a non-meta build a while back, and I even made a tweet about it where I showed like the defensive values, which I'll put on screen for you guys right now. These are the defensive values so long as your weapon is drawn and in the red scroll, and some of you guys will already understand why you need the red scroll for this if you guys are familiar with the Furious skill. But I'm going to show you guys this particular mixed set, because I thought it was really funny that when I brought this set over on Twitter, right, I put up a picture of just the stats. I didn't even show people what the set was, but I had a couple of people instantly come around and just start saying, oh man, so much defense, absolutely no attack. What are you planning on doing? Like running 45-minute hunts? Oh, so funny. And I was like, huh. Well, that's interesting. So people believe that due to the fact that I made a set with this amount of defense, that I wasn't going to be able to hunt things, you know, in a reasonable time. Now, the gameplay that you guys are watching in the background is a sub 12-minute valstrax, which, again, keep in mind, I'm not a speedrunner. I'm not good at all when it comes to speedrunning. I just like comfortable hunts. But I still feel like, 12 minutes to kill a valstrax, I mean, less than 12 minutes to kill a valstrax, I feel like that's pretty respectable, right? That's pretty okay, particularly for a non-meta build. And some of you guys might even be running with Rurikhan. What made you even decide to make a build like this? And the reasoning is quite simple. It's like, I really love the look of the Royal Gunlance. I think it's a phenomenally good-looking Gunlance. Unfortunately, as many of the Gunlances in the Gunlance tree, it does not have max shelling. So my reasoning behind working on a build like this was like, okay, so what does this Gunlance actually have that excels at literally anything? And the only thing that it does have, interestingly enough, is 50 defense. I think this is the Gunlance that has the most defense out of all of them, because, not a lot of Gunlances even give defense to begin with. I mean, I think Howitzer gives like 30 or something like that. But I was like, okay, so the defining characteristic of this Gunlance is that it got 50 defense. So what are we going to do? I'm going to make a set that excels at having tons and tons of defense for no particular reason. Now, naturally, the Gunlance, in order to deal shelling damage, does not require a lot of stats. You just need, like, if you just want to focus on maxing out shelling, you need artillery and you need load shells, and Bob's your uncle. Now, naturally, that is not going to make, a build in and of itself, but, like, you can still deal a reasonable amount of damage with it, particularly with Bullet Barrage, and particularly, you know, it still comes with positive affinity and purple sharpness. You can still deal a decent amount of melee damage with it as well. This is not going to be a meta build by any stretch, but I just thought it was interesting that so many people were just going like, oh man, you're going to take forever to kill stuff with this build. It's like, no, you don't. You can have defensive builds, and here's the interesting part of it. Through the fact that you have so much defense, you can actually just take more chances than usual and get away with it. That's the beauty of this particular build. So let's take a look at it so that you guys can have an idea of how we put this thing together. Now, naturally, the Gunlance is going to be the Royal Order's Pledge. I already explained why that is. And then on the actual armor set itself, we're going to have Divine Ire Mask, Malzeno Mail, Divine Ire Cote, Basil Goose Coil X, and Holy Hire Akuma. Now, in terms of a talisman, you're going to struggle to get a talisman as good as this one because it is like my best talisman, 3 Wirebug Whisper, 2 Part Breaker. It's really, really good. You'll see 2 artillery in there as well. That's because of the 2 slots that it's got on there. But it's like you don't need all of this stuff. Just get the best talisman that you can possibly get with 2 tier 2 slots, and it's whatever. If you don't have Wirebug Whisper, it's not the end of the world. Although I would recommend at least trying to get Part Breaker, because Part Breaker is pretty cool because you get more flinches off of the monsters and stuff like that. So yeah, that is the talisman that we got going there. Now, when it comes to the slots themselves, if you go to the Gunlance, you got a shield deco and a defense deco. And in this case, we're using anti-aerial because naturally we're fighting against valstrax. So anti-aerial is going to be the thing that's going to buff up our Gunlance shelling damage. But if you're fighting something else, then change it for the required anti-thing for that specific wyvern. Anyway, on the Divine Ire Mask, we're going to put 3 grinder decos. This is kind of optional. You're not going to be sharpening that often, but I just like the flexibility there. If you want to go against something that is stunning you, take Steadfast. If you want something else, take something else. Not really a big deal. On the Malzeno Mail, we got Tenderizer Jewel 2 and Defense Level 1, because on top of everything that we're already getting, we're also going to get like Level 1 Blood Right, even though personally I don't rely too much on Level 1 Blood Right, but it's there. Then on Divine Ire Cote, we have Iron Wall Jewel plus 3, because I always like having 3 guard on my Gunlance sets. On the Basil Goose Coil X, we have Tenderizer and Artillery. On the Holy Ire Akama, we have Hard Defense Jewel, and then on the Tempest, we have 2 artillery decos. Now, if we take a look at the final build, you're looking at Defense Boost 7. We still get Critical Eye 3, which is pretty nice. Weakness Exploit 3, which basically gives us a baseline of 25% affinity plus 50% affinity if you're hitting weak spots, so you will crit actually reasonably often. We got Razor Sharp 3 to maintain the sharpness. We have Guard level 3. We have Artillery level 3. Obviously, we have Part Breaker level 3, Speed Sharpening level 3, Wirebug Whisperer 3, Furious 3, and some of you guys might be wondering, like, what the hell is Furious? It's plus 30 defense, plus 20 to all resistances. This skill is one of the primary reasons. This and Defense 7 are the primary reasons why all of our defenses are in the positive, which is really good because it reduces the damage of a lot of monster attacks. It's actually really, really satisfying just to be able to take a couple of hits to the face and not just get completely and absolutely obliterated, right? Then we have Load Shell, Spare Shot doesn't matter. Evade Extender 2, Guard Up, and 1 point in Blood Right. Now, I just wanted to share this build with you to let you guys know that, like, look, a lot of people nowadays, they have this meta mentality where they just think, no, everything needs to be weakness, exploit, and crit boost. And they get this thing a lot of times from watching, like, speedruns, and they think they're going to play like the speedrunners. And, like, listen, guys, let me assure you that when speedrunners are playing casually, they're probably not running around with full heroics and, you know, all of this stuff. They're going to take some comfort skills when they're just like grinding randomly or doing some casual hunts, okay? Not to mention that when you have a build that is made around speedrunning, this is something where the people running these builds, they're basically like, you know, they're going in there, and the second there's a mistake made, reset the run, restart. And I'm not criticizing this. I think it's fascinating whenever I see a speedrun because I learn a lot from watching speedrunners. I just think that there's a lot of people that they watch a speedrun and they just think that like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to hunt in everyday hunts. When in reality, there's so many choices of skills that you can take. And a lot of people just ignore them because it's like, oh, I can't believe you're building defense, I can't believe you're using Divine Blessing. Oh, you know, it's like, I just find it so funny because a lot of these people end up like, you know, they'll join a multiplayer hunt, cart twice, and then leave. That's the hilarity of it all. So whenever somebody, you know, if at any point in time somebody gives you a hard time because you're playing with a defensive skill, ignore that person. He's probably an idiot. I can assure you, no speedrunner is going out there, you know, lecturing people about how they should build their mixed sets, okay? I can assure you of this. This is not a thing that happens. Anyway, one thing that I forgot to show you, switch skills. We got Blast, Dash, Quick, Reload, Erupting Cannon, Bullet, Barrage, Reverse Blast. And then on the blue side, same thing, and Ground Splitter, just in case you wanted to know that part as well. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to let you guys know what I've been up to. And yeah, as soon as I'm able to grind everything for the sword and shields and stuff, I'll be sure to put out a sword and shield mixed set video. And also tomorrow we have the release of Xenoblade 3, so I'm also going to be spending some time, you know, playing that, obviously. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.